we've been recording for the
Well,
last 5 seconds. Do you do the intro?
take a stab at it and see which one sounds better.
All right, you go ahead.
Good morning or good evening, ladies and gents. This is the Chris and Meri podcast about the end of the world or whatever. I'd like to welcome you today for our little conversation. Hope you have a good time listening to us bullshit.
I don't know if I hope they have a good time.
You know what? We'll work on that then.
yeah. I hope they have time. I don't
Well,
care. I don't care
my
what.
name is Meri.
Yeah.
This is my big brother, Chris. And we have recently decided to take a stab at podcasts. And I want to take a second to introduce ourselves and kind of what we're doing for funsies. And this is all just for funsies.
Super funsies.
And yeah, and definitely don't listen to us if you're faint of heart.
Don't listen to us if you have a heart. It might.
Hey, I got a heart.
It might cause some weird heartbeats. Some what do you call those?
Palpitations.
Yeah, that. Sometimes it happens to me.
Oh. Well, a couple of months ago, we started talking about doing a podcast because we're 6 years difference between us. And that means a lot when you're a kid.
I think it's more than that.
No, it's just 6 years.
What
year were you born?
84.
I was born in 90, bro.
Oh, shit. What was I thinking? Oh, because the wife was 91.
But when you're a kid, that age difference makes a big fucking difference. When you're an adult, kind of matters less and less. And so we found ourselves reconnecting on just stupid shit and deep shit and mostly stupid stuff, though. And I think it would be fun for other people to not necessarily join the conversation. We don't need y'all's help.
Put your conversation points down in the comments.
Yeah, and I can't wait to get some comments on this shit. But one of the things that I found most fascinating about
being born when I was 6 years old.
No, about the prospect of doing a podcast with you in particular is just funsies for us. But what's the appeal for podcasts in the last 10 years? And there have been old school podcasts that have been on forever, but they've really become woven into the fabric of our society in our lifetime. And I was thinking about what is the appeal of a podcast to listeners?
Well, I don't think it's a new phenomenon. I think that you've listened to talk shows, right? Since the radio was invented. Before that, you would listen to people tell stories around a campfire, right? So I don't think that listening to people talk is a new thing. I think that the availability and the choices is what's new, right? The internet.
Yeah. Everything is kind of a product of our society. And I think stories, Shakespeare, plays, music, even look at the Psalms. These were people talking about topics that affected other people's lives. But I think what is really fascinating to me about the whole podcast arena is we are such individuals in the world today. When you grow up in a big family, you're constantly around conversation. You're constantly hearing other people's thoughts. You're hearing other people's voices. But then if you don't live in a big family, or if you live alone, even as an adult, your instinct is to surround yourself with community and with people. And we're just not set up like that anymore. Even look at apartments,
Yeah,
you don't even know
surrounded by people.
Yeah, but you don't know them. You're not in a community. Being next to somebody doesn't mean you're in community with them. If that were true,
that
then
way. See, I like not knowing my neighbors. Because why do I want to know about them?
That's the thing. I listen to podcasts quite often, and it's not necessarily that they're sucking me into a conversation where my mind is intrigued, and there are those, and I do find those that I enjoy. But for the most part, I just have them playing, driving to work, driving home, getting the kids, what have you. It's just comforting to know that there is a conversation going on, and especially we grew up with 5 kids in our family.
Yeah, it was never quiet because you had
It
little
was
ankle biters running around.
yeah, and then as they
That
grew
was a
up, they
stab at you
graced you
biting my
with the
ankles.
I never bit your
You
ankles, and
have
if I
been.
did, I probably thought that was a ham hock, you gargantuan mother.
Whoa, hey, no body shaming allowed on the Mary and Chris podcast about the end of the world or whatever.
Hey, I don't think it's a shame to say you got legs that look like ham hocks. That's delicious. That's appetizing.
That sounds even weirder. I don't know if she's talking about how you feel about my legs in general, not even just on the podcast. Although I,
I will never forget, man. You were in football, probably 15, 16 years old. So you passing through puberty, whatever, like your body just starts. You were always a strong kid, but when you were working out for football, man, I remember looking at your legs one time. We were sitting watching TV, and I was like, man, you got pretty legs. And you and Carlos both looked at me like, what? I was like, yeah, look it. And I was noticing the shape of your legs, like the
yes,
strong ankle, the
they
big
are
calf.
very shapely.
They are shapely, but
You
they're
should see
also
them in
tree
heels.
trunks.
I miss
I
my
remember
tree
how
trunks of
furry they were.
legs.
Yeah, man, they were huge. I still think that you're a pretty big dude. I mean, I wouldn't fuck with you in a bar.
I would. I'd
Fighting?
fuck. I'd fight myself. If there was another me, I'd definitely be fighting a lot more often. Because I'd get fed up with the dumb crap that I say and just probably pop me in the mouth. And then knowing me,
Well,
if I get popped in the mouth, I'm going to pop them back in the mouth.
one of the other things that's fascinating about me observing brothers and men throughout my life, big dudes are always the most chill. It's the same with dogs, right?
Yeah, and then just
But
short dudes always got a complex.
yes.
Yeah, they
And
got.
it's like why doesn't the big dude who knows he could demolish everybody at the bar keep his fucking mouth shut? Because he
It's
doesn't have anything to prove.
yeah, it's
But even
confidence.
more than that, huh?
It's confidence.
Not just that, I think particularly with dudes that have a certain personality where they've grown up always being bigger and they kind of recognize at some point in their life, like, if I ever lose control, I will kill somebody. And so there's always this restraint that is in the back of the mind to say, like, I'm just going to leave this alone because if I let this little chihuahua yipping at me piss me off, if I pass that threshold, it's going to be game over. Uh, so I find it ironic I'm talking about the male psyche, but observations, bro.
You have
Scientific.
probably better input than I do because I'm just like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Who cares? It doesn't matter.
What do you
The male psyche, who cares?
females?
Yeah, but who cares what they have to say?
Who cares what females have to say?
Yeah.
Man, we just had this conversation.
Yeah, and who cares?
The men do.
No, no, no.
We
Men don't care what you have to say.
About you guys? Yeah, you do.
No, about anything. I don't care what most people have to say. I don't care if it's a woman or a man. I don't care what you're saying. Unless
We're
I'm
talking about generalized shit, though.
Yeah, in general, I don't care. I mean, if I'm going to sit down with a person, right? And I think the distinction is when you sit down with a person and you're having a conversation with them. Sit there, stand there, whatever. You meet someone at a bar, you have a conversation with them. Then you're maybe intrigued and you have some desire to hear what they have to say and care to learn what they're talking about. But otherwise, why? Why do I care? And even if it's
Well,
just a
we just
random conversation, like I don't really care enough to keep talking to you about anything.
No, I think it's instinctual. I think maybe you've gotten to that point. I think when I say general, I don't mean generally, Chris. I'm talking about general male-female interactions. We we just look at the animal kingdom.
Yes, but I can tell you
You
as a
don't care because
man,
you got a woman.
no, even as a man that didn't have a woman, and I wasn't looking to hear what the woman had to say when I
Oh
was talking
shit.
to her. Again, you want to go back to the animal kingdom, right? It was all about passing your seed on. The lion goes and fights all the other lions so he can get the lionesses and pass his seed on. And then when he gets those lionesses, if they have little lion cubs that aren't his, he kills them because he doesn't care about their seed. It's all about passing my seed on.
Yes, but prior to that point, birds, for example, the men jump through literal hoops to vie for the attention of the female so that they can pass their seed on. That bird cares what the woman thinks. In fact, he adjusts his behavior to please the woman. And that's not just
No,
birds, that's
it's the same.
insects.
It's the same thing that the man is doing, right? A male human to a female human. He's just trying to get her attention long enough to get it in. So in any conversation, everything in life is about sex, except for sex. Sex is about power.
About power. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have we met before? Shit.
Yeah, a couple times I think. I was at that one mixer, Catalina wine mixer, I think.
God, Catalina.
Different Catalina. You missed a reference.
I did. What was it?
Step Brothers.
Oh no, I've only watched that movie a half a time.
Yeah, wasn't that Step Brothers where they go to the Catalina wine mixer?
I don't know, bro. I don't think I ever finished that movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not really worth watching.
I've
It's
never finished Star Wars either.
it's not really worth watching anymore. They ruined the series.
There's a character, and I think it's in the newer series, and the name rhymes something with Bubble Fett.
Boba Fett. He's old school.
Isn't that the big one where Princess Leia was in the?
No,
Wait, who's Bubble Fett?
Boba.
Oh shit, Boba Fett.
Bubble. You call him Bubble like you're blowing bubbles?
Well,
Like
I don't. My
bubble
sons
gun?
do.
Oh, okay.
He's got this Star Wars T-shirt with like little cartoon characters of Star Wars people. He's got Yoda. He's got a Star Trooper. He's got Luke Skywalker, Chewbacca. There's this one guy with like a blue helmet or something, and he's like, "Is that Bubble Fett?" I'm like, "I don't know, bro."
Yeah, Boba Fett has the green helmet. I think he has like red trim around, like it's like the red T on
Yeah,
his
yeah,
face.
yeah.
Yeah.
Boba Fett. Okay,
Boba
I'm
Fett.
gonna,
You're
I'm gonna.
thinking of Jabba the Hutt. He's the big slug guy that was holding Princess Leia captive when she was wearing that bikini and had the
You know,
braids. Yeah.
most of my days I relate to Jabba the Hutt.
Just laying around having people bring you food and then getting strangled by some chick in a metal clad bikini.
Keeping bitches for
Ooh.
my entertainment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wouldn't mind doing that though. Some people are into
Well,
choking. That's all I'm saying.
and that's one of the other things we had to have this conversation about. Women have the choice to choose who they mate with in the animal kingdom and so forth. But I still think that there is a distinct difference between the rest of the animal kingdom and humans. And that's one of them, right? Is that
No,
males like
I th-
fucking the hut.
women still have the choice. That's I don't think that differs from the
Not if
animal
they're
kingdom.
chained up in a metal bikini, dude. Not my dude.
Well, I don't know what he was doing to her. I don't think that was for mating purposes.
I always wonder if fat people can mate.
Yeah.
I was having this conversation with this dude. Well, it wasn't just this dude, it was this a group of people. We were talking about how large people, and I'm not talking like average large, I'm talking
600 pound life to large.
there was a girl that I knew. She wasn't thin. She's probably 200 pounds, a little chubby,
How tall?
5'9", 5'10".
Okay.
So, I mean, so not gross, 200 pounds, not gross, but chubby. And she married this dude who was big. Like his feet couldn't fit in regular shoes. He had to wear Crocs to his wedding because his feet wouldn't fit in anything else. And all of that, like the little holes in Crocs, like his feet were like poking through those little holes. And shame on me while I'm listening to them share their beautiful life story and how much they love each other. All I'm thinking about is their wedding night. And I'm like, how are you going to accomplish this? Because even if that dude laid down, nothing was coming out.
I have no idea.
And you know what I think of are those little party favors where you like blow into them and they go, you know?
The
So it's
horns,
like, yeah, like the little party favors from the dollar store. You go and they, and out the
they
other end,
curl
like you
out.
blow
Yeah.
and it, yeah. And so I always picture, and this was years ago. I was probably 19, 20 years old when they got married. And I was thinking this, and I was like, is it like that where she has to like punch him in the stomach and it poops out? I was like, so
No,
is that
that'd
like the
be.
entire thing is just like bam, bam, like beating the shit out of this guy's stomach to get his party favor going?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's what they were into, and that's why they got married. Well, thank you.
Maybe, I don't know.
No,
But
I'm
it's
recording a
often crossed
podcast.
my mind. And I've ever been with one really fat guy. And I got to be honest, I was so drunk, I don't even remember how it happened or if it happened, to be honest.
Yeah, I've never been with a really fat guy either, and I can't imagine that I would enjoy it for the reasons that you mentioned. And it's just be too much work.
Ironically, right?
Yeah, I want to know, what do you do for a living? Like, what's your job when you?
He was a 911 dispatcher, man.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. He just sits there on the phone.
Yeah.
Like, I've been big. I got up to like 300 pounds at one point in my life, but
I feel like 300 pounds isn't that gross for you, though. Because how tall are you? 6'1"?
6 foot. Yeah.
Yeah, but like your body structure is just is big.
Yeah, but I was a big old fatty. Still
Well, you
kind
could be
of,
a big old fatty, but like
but I could
even
still
at your
walk.
wedding, yeah. Well, even at your wedding, and I was like, look, we love each other. We're not real fucking huggy, lovey dovey type sibling situation.
I'm just not a light, huggy person in general. I used to cringe. My body would like cringe and curl up when people would touch me. When mom would hug
Why is
me,
that?
I just don't like people touching me. Same reason I don't like massages. Why are you touching me? Get away from me.
Oh yeah, and fucking haircuts.
Haircuts, I just don't see the point of them. I can cut my
What
own hair. Why
sense?
am I gonna spend? Why am I gonna spend like $20 to get a haircut?
$20 is like what? Great clips.
Yeah, exactly. I spent $80 on pair clippers 5 years ago, and saved myself $20 since.
Well, I
If I
still
just
think
got
that
one
there's,
haircut a year, right? Which is about what I do.
but like there's something to being big boned as far as like weight goes, and I will
Excuse me.
say like a lot of people have been like, oh, I'm just big boned. It's like no, you're fat, baby. Like
Yeah,
it's I'm no shame on you, but you eat too much or you eat too much crap, like your body's not functioning properly and you're storing all of that stuff in there. And there's one girl I knew and she was only 5'7", dude. And she was 190 pounds. You would never be able to fucking tell. She looked good. She was fit, but she wasn't like a bodybuilder fit. It was just something about the way that God made her body is she had dense ass bones, dense ass muscle structure, and had a flat stomach, you know, fucking beautiful at 190 pounds at 5'7". So,
I can't imagine being 5'7".
well,
I also can't imagine only being 190 pounds. I don't think I've been 190 pounds since I was 15.
yeah.
You know how high I could jump if I was less than 200 pounds?
I have thought about this. And after I say all this stuff, I'm like, I'm not a skinny bitch either. I've never been. Uh, but I go on the Stairmaster, dude, and I'm like seeing all these little bitches being like, "Ooh, yeah, feel the burn," and I'm like fucking dying.
I don't see. I've always been a big dude too, but I get on the stairmasters, and I've had a couple people like ex girlfriends that are like, "Oh, I could walk farther than you or whatever, or run farther or whatever," and I was like, "No, you couldn't." And then this has always come up just because I'd walk everywhere when I was younger. And so these chicks would come in and then they would get tired after like 20 minutes of walking. I'm like, we're not even halfway there, homie. Let's go.
20 minutes of walking?
Yeah,
Shit.
that's what I'm saying.
They
Like
must have
easy
had
money.
parents with minivans and shit. It's like, oh, really?
Hey,
You
we had
never had
we
to
had
walk
minivans. Our parents had a minivan.
through
Yeah, and then
the
we're going.
champagne one?
Yeah, and we're going to it was an old Chrysler Voyager. I don't remember what year. This had to be a 90 something Chrysler Voyager. I remember we're going up to Colorado from Arizona, and it could barely make it up the mountains. And we had to stop on a
Little,
couple occasions because it was overheating.
little V6, was it?
Oh, I don't even know if it was a V6 in it. That was so long ago, I couldn't even tell you.
Well, and I've met people, and this is what I'm saying. Like the scale matters to an extent, but it only can matter when you know your own body and what your body's prime and optimal function is and when it's not. Like that little chick, 5'7", 190 pounds, looking fucking fire, and then you have a 5'10" girl at 190 pounds and she looking like Gru.
Yeah, if you had me at 190 pounds, you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, he has cancer. He's going to die." I'd be looking
Yes,
sickly.
dude.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't think that weight is a good scale for health, right? I mean, you could look at. I always like
No,
to
I
point
think
out
when
that
you
people
know your
thought,
body structure, maybe it is. Because I've met broads. I met this one girl at a coffee shop, and I swear to you, I was looking at her legs, and I'm like, my son, who is 4 years old, I was like, he has bigger calf muscles than you do. I'm like, I don't even know how you're standing.
right, just
But
bouncing out your
I'm,
toothpicks,
yeah, I'm like, man, you shop in the kitty aisle for them shoes?
right?
'Cause
Well,
she was tiny.
I think that weight is a good way. Like I can set a goal and get to this weight, but I don't think it's a good metric to judge your health, right? I mean, and my favorite thing to always point out is that Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime, when he won Mr. Olympus back to back, was obese,
Yeah.
right? Like that's not a good metric. Just because your weight, it does not determine a lot of things. Like you said, know your own body. Like you don't have to be a massive bodybuilder to know that you have a certain body structure, right? You can just kind of look and tell. And if you're like fat and heavy like I am, then you can know that, oh, I don't have a lot of muscle because I'm fat and I'm not doing shit. But I'm working on it. I lost 20 pounds in the past month, so
Yeah. Congratulations on that.
yeah.
It's nothing to scoff at. But
That's like that's 10% of well no, that's like 15% of my body weight. That's pretty
well, I'm
decent.
5'9", and my body, according to these like scales that were written back in the day, are I should weigh 170. And just like you, I'm like, if I was 170, you would be like, are you okay? Like,
Yeah,
it
again.
doesn't look healthy. But I'm also, the composition of my body and the structure of it is just so much more built to fucking bulldoze. It's not,
Uh,
if we were animals, like that's one of your big things about diets. It's eat like the animal that you are.
yeah.
And if you're a deer, or if you're going all day, kind of low impact all day though, eat like a deer. But if you're chilling most of the time and then have large expenses of energy in short periods of time, then eat like a lion.
Yeah, if you got to get up and run quick, do it. But most people aren't like that, right? And I think that our diet reflects that. And I think that our body reflects that. That's why we're omnivores, right? We eat everything. We're more like a bear.
Yeah, most
Minus
people
like,
are shaped like a bear nowadays.
I wish I was shaped like a bear. You see the size of their hands? I wish I had bigger fists. Like I don't care if I had short fingers.
You
I,
do have small hands.
I don't think I have small hands.
I mean, I think for your stature, and I mean, we've been talking for the like what last 5 minutes about how big you are. Just naturally, you got small hands. I will say that.
I think you just have giant man hands, and you're trying to make yourself feel better because my hands are
Bitch,
just
no,
only a little bit bigger than yours.
no. The my fingers are fat. My hands are fat, but they're not long. When I say you have small hands, that's what I'm talking about. You have short fingers and a short palm.
I feel like my palm. I don't know. Either way, I just wish I had bigger fists.
Yeah, I was going back to this like, oh, I bet I could out cardio you, and you're like, let's do it then, bitch, right?
Right? And they all
I
failed.
yeah, I was probably at my prime physical. I was probably running like 3 to 5 miles a day plus weightlifting and then working. And you'd, as a waitress, you'd walk another 18 miles that day at this particular restaurant. And cardio was good. Like I was like, my resting heart rate was like 45, healthy. And I was dating this guy, woke up, smoked a cigarette, smoked probably a pack a day minimum, plus smoked weed. This guy's lungs should be trashed. And he could run like no, I was like, no way can you outrun me? Like, no, this dude did it. And then I was like running like 6.5, 7 miles per hour. You're like, yeah, you know, this is gonna get our heart rate up. And he was like 9, 10, 11, and keeping up with the minutes on the shit and just like destroy. And he was like, where you at? Where you at? I would never run with that guy on a track. It would be shameful.
He would lap you.
Oh my gosh, it was insane. And I always thought about, I'm like, man, if you didn't smoke, imagine what you could do.
Well, I think with all the smoking, right, his body was used to operating on such low oxygen, so when he started breathing heavy, he didn't need that much.
Maybe that's a
That's why.
theory, eh?
That's why I'm weaning myself off of breathing. That, and I feel like it's just better for you to not breathe.
What the fuck?
Well, think about it, right? Every person that has ever breathed has died.
Dies.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but when they stop breathing, they're also dead. So it doesn't really help you.
Yeah, well, they only died because they kept breathing, and then the breathing killed them. So if you don't breathe, you'll live longer.
Yeah, and
Fact.
this is
Fact. You can hold your breath for the rest of your life.
facts.
Fact.
I mean, you ain't wrong.
I know, right?
No. But, you know, like this is the exact point of why I think
We should do a podcast.
we should do a podcast is because we just talk about bullshit, and I think it's relevant. Bullshit is relevant to everybody. I don't care what demographic you are. I don't care how special or intelligent you think you are. Like sometimes you just need some bullshit conversation to get you through the day and to get you to work or to get you through the next 30 minutes of cleaning or what have you.
Right.
So, you know,
Well,
we're really glad that you
wasted
came to
30 minutes of your life listening to this crap go on. The moral of the story is smoke more, you'll run further. And don't get fat because sex gets weird at a certain point. Sometimes you need more cushion. Sometimes there's only cushion. All right. All right.
All right. All right. All right. Well, that has it for us, folks. Have a great day or night.
Yeah, yeah. I'm Mary. That's Chris. Please.
No, I'm Mary. You're Chris.
Well, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm funny.